Yes, certainly sung with some meaning there by the Icelandic contingent. Only the second time that anthem has been heard at a major football championship finals, and the first time we heard it, of course, was last Tuesday, and it certainly inspired Iceland to that draw against Portugal. Last Tuesday was Shockwave Tuesday at the Euros, with the Hungarians winning and the Icelandic team holding Cristiano Ronaldo and co to that 1-1 draw in Saint-Étienne. The question is, Trevor, who can lift themselves again the most out of these two, the two upstarts?
Absolutely. I think both teams have got a lot of confidence from the first games in this tournament. Obviously Iceland getting that famous draw against Portugal and having to come back from going 1-0 down. I think that was exceptional for the spirit of the team and the belief. And obviously we're seeing Hungary and their performance against Austria. We fancied the Austrians, well, I fancied the Austrians going into the game with all the star names from the Premier League and around Europe, and the Hungarians did a fantastic job on them and won 2-0, so both teams have got a lot of confidence going into this game. I hope they bring that into this game, because if they do, they'll both be going for it, and it should give us a nice open game of exciting football.
Well, the two captains are going through the handshaking routine on the halfway line with the match officials, all five of them. They're doing their own little high five. The officials from Eastern Europe, the referee himself is from Russia, and I guess Iceland have completely ignored the recommendations of Cristiano Ronaldo, because they're going with the same team, the same formation, probably the same tactics. You would imagine no need to change things too dramatically, even though of course the Hungarians don't carry the same threat as was perceived from the Portuguese. Iceland, Hal Dawson in goal, then a back four of Severson, Ragnar Sigurdsson, Kari Arnason and Ari Skulason. In midfield, Johan Gudmundsson, Gylfi Sigurdsson of Swansea City, their best player. Aaron Gunnarsson of Cardiff City is the captain, alongside him in midfield, and then it's Bjarnason of Basel, who scored the famous equalising goal against Portugal, which stunned the footballing world, let alone Europe. And then up front it's Sigthorsson and Bodvarsson. Hungary making three changes and a bit of a reshuffle at the back. Fiola is out with an injury, Nemeth is left out, and Soloy, who scored their first goal on Tuesday, is also left out. I'll give you their lineup in just a second, but let's first of all watch the kick-off, and we are underway in this match being played in Marseille. Iceland have changed into their blue colours for this one. They were all in white, of course, pristine white against the Portuguese. They're in blue for this second match for them in Group F. They're playing from left to right in the first half in the Stade Velodrome, and there's a long throw straight away from Gunnarsson down the near touchline, headed away by Hungary. It'll drop back into the domain of Iceland, but the whistle has been blown, and I can run through the Hungarian team. Gabor Kirai in goal. He's breaking his own record. He was the oldest keeper in town 4 days ago when he played against Austria, setting a new record as the oldest player ever to appear in a European Championship finals tournament. 40 years and 79 days he is now. He gets older by the day, like the rest of us. The former Crystal Palace man in his famous tracksuit bottoms. Then in front of him it's Lang, Guzmic, Muhac and Kadar. Naj and Gira are the two Ferencváros players holding things in midfield. Ahead of them in the number 10 role it's Laszlo Kleinheisler of Werder Bremen, the wide men of Stiba and the captain Zizek and Tamas Priskin, once of Watford and Queen's Park Rangers and a few others in England and Wales. He played for Swansea too. He's up front.
I've got to say, what a carnival atmosphere there is in Stade Velodrome, and also looking at the fans, and when that stadium's full, it's got to be the sexiest stadium in the world. I mean, the Lions are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, since they built the roof, it's taken on a whole new dimension, and we saw some pictures from a camera up on high overlooking the bay and the Mediterranean. Absolutely super setting. We also saw a still photograph which has been published online of a little bit of a disturbance at the Hungarian end of the ground involving their supporters, or their alleged supporters, and the local police, but we're told that has now settled down, and let's get on with the football. Don't forget Portugal against Austria. The other match in this group follows at 8 o'clock. But here's a ball by Gira down the far side for Hungary, trying to pressurise the defender for Iceland, who's across there to clear the ball away. Carrie Arneson it was. He's the man who used to play for Plymouth and Rotherham, would you believe? Carrie Arneson with a clearance, and it's going to be a throw-in for Hungary, just a couple of yards away from the corner flag on the far side. They're right in front of the chanting and enchanting Icelandic supporters over on the far side, who can scarcely believe they're here. The men from just south of the Arctic Circle making such a great impression on the pitch, and now they have a throw-in on the far side. And the Hungarians, by the way, all in white with their national colours, the red and the green also included in the kit, but mainly white as the ball is swung across the Iceland half by the smallest nation ever to play in a finals tournament. It's struck long and straight out of play for the throw-in for Hungary, and nobody yet quite is settling down.
No, cagey start. I think you look at the way the Hungarians are squeezing very high. I think they show little respect for the Icelandic players and ability to play out from the back, so it'll be interesting to see if that continues and they continue to press high and stopping them playing out from the back, because they'll have to play it long otherwise.
The ball is with Lang, the right back for Hungary. He switched over from centre-back where he played in the first game because of the injury to Fiola, which we'll talk about. Hungary produce a cross in towards the far post, well defended there by Sevarsson, and it's away by Iceland. It's out for a throw-in though on the near side for Hungary, taken by Kadar, the former Newcastle United reserve. He finds Kleinheisler, back to Kadar and Kleinheisler again. Kadar once more, touches it infield, looking for support there from Gira, doesn't really get it. Iceland make the intervention, but they're hustled off the ball pretty quickly by Hungary. Hungary's victory over Austria was their first in the Euro finals for 44 years, and boy did they party afterwards like it was indeed 1972 all over again. And they're applying the early pressure here as Arneson again comes across for Iceland from centre-back to turn it out of play for another Hungarian throw. Yeah,
Hungary have just turned the pace up a little bit. Great run down the right-hand side into the channel by Gira. Laid it off in a fine cross into the box, which troubled Iceland. Defended it well, but they've definitely put a high press on them there, trying to win the ball back very successfully again.
Yeah, they've won it again, Hungary, and Iceland cannot maintain possession. You would expect Hungary to have most of the ball and maybe Iceland to do as they did largely against Portugal, which is defend in depth and try to play on the break and maybe hit a few long balls for Sigthorsson to nod down to Gylfi Sigurdsson, who will be the main support from midfield. But Sigurdsson, when he plays for Iceland, does have to figure in a deeper position than he does at the Liberty Stadium with Swansea in the Premier League. Again, it's Iceland on the back foot. The other Sigurdsson in the side is Ragnar Sigurdsson, and he again, safety first, measures his clearance straight into the Icelandic supporters. Another throw-in for the Magyars of Hungary. It's taken towards the corner flag. Kleinheisler is involved in a little bit of a scramble there with the fullback Skulason. The ball is still on the floor. Who did it ricochet off last of all? It is going to be a goal kick for Iceland. The assistant referee there had to be very watchful, because that was a right scramble right in the corner quadrant. We have the benefit of the replay to see if he got it right.
Looked like they were playing a bit of Twister there. Yeah. Very flexible.
So it remains 0-0 here in this match being played in Marseille on 5 Live from the BBC. 6 minutes played. The ball is cleared away long by Hungary this time. Underneath it was Huhash, who's come into the team for Hungary in this game. Iceland building their first attack. Gudmundsson down the near side. In comes the cross towards the far post. It's massively overhead. It should be cleared away by Lang over there for Hungary. It's blocked. It ricochets high up into the air. Bjarnason's trying to win it back for Iceland, but there is Naj, the Ferencváros youngster. He's lost it though. Bjarnason's got it back on the far side for Iceland. Level with the Hungarian penalty area. Needs support. It's there from the fullback. Skulason going back towards the halfway line. Now he plays it long, and that was overhit, and it's straight through to Gabo Kirai, who's paid the laundry bill. The Grace tracksuit bottoms, or the jogging bottoms as he calls them, are clean again.
Clean again and look very baggy as usual. I'm just looking at both teams' strategies here, and you can see that both teams have got a similar strategy where They're not allowing the opposition to play out from the back. They're putting a high press on and forcing the ball to be played long.
And this is coverage of Euro 2016, of course, on the BBC television, this match, and also on 5 Live. You can press the red button to listen to the radio commentary synchronised with the television coverage, which is always handy if you so wish. Earlier it was the Republic of Ireland 0, Belgium 3 in Bordeaux. Real setback that for the Irish. 2 goals for Romelu Lukaku as the Belgians scored all 3 in the second half, and the Irish now have to do something big against Italy in their final match. Free kick for Iceland, delivered deep into the penalty area, headed away by Long though, and it's going to be a corner for Iceland. And of course the set piece is one of the strengths of their game, and they have a corner over on the far side in Marseille on a rather threadbare pitch. We can talk about that as well in a minute, but first of all let's watch this Icelandic corner from the far side with a score at 0-0. Karai, the goalkeeper, is well off his line. He's standing 5 yards off his line. Is he going to jog backwards? In it comes to the near post, and the goalkeeper was flapping at that one, not too sure what he was doing. He gives his defenders the thumbs up. He looks calm, and the ball has gone right across the front of the goal and out for a throw-in on the near side, which Aron Gunnarsson is going to take. He certainly has the long throw in his locker, does the Icelandic captain. He looks like a Viking with his long, raggy beard. He's going to throw it in from the near side. It's headed across the goal by Arnason, and then just over the top of the bar. And Iceland provide the first moment of real danger in the match, with Bodvarsson heading over the top in the end after the flick on by Arnason. Kirai watched it over the bar. He just stretched up, actually laid his glove on the top of the bar, and the ball was above that, out for a goal kick.
Yeah, fantastic delivery on the initial corner. Great ball, lots of pace on it, whipped into the near post. Unfortunately couldn't get anyone on the end of that, Iceland, but then the throw in, that's straight from the training ground. Good movement, flicking it on towards the far post, and then Body's getting in there, just couldn't hit the target. But great to see Iceland looking quite expansive, looking to get in behind and looking to create chances so early on in the game.
0-0. And just about 10 minutes played. The ball is with Hungary inside their own half. It's played forward by Juhas. Juhas, vastly experienced player at the age of 32. He's now with Lokeren in Belgium, having previously won the title there with Anderlecht. Here's Hungary in possession with Gira. Gira, the former West Brom and Fulham man, floats it down the far side, and now it's the captain Zizek for Hungary, wearing the armband, rolls it back to Gira. In comes the cross, headed away by Iceland to the edge of their own penalty area, and nicely controlled by Skulason, who sends it through the air to the halfway line. The header on there from Sigthorsson goes astray, and Hungary have possession again in the right back berth with Long. Long has come in place of Fiola. Trevor and myself watched the opening match for Hungary when they beat Austria. Fiola, the right back, turned his ankle in a challenge with Christian Fuchs quite horribly, and yet somehow came back onto the pitch for the last 5 minutes of the match. But we saw him out with the team in his suit prior to this game, and he's wearing one of those big protective boots, and he could well be out for the tournament.
Yeah, he played really well, Fiola, as well. Disappointing for him, but it was a really bad twist of the ankle. Very surprised that he went back on the pitch, actually, but he may have done more damage than good, and we see him in the boot now. I would suspect it's ligament damage, and I'll be surprised if he makes a comeback within the next 2 weeks.
Yes, we said at the time adrenaline was a great painkiller for him at the time, but he's feeling it now. Here come Hungary on the near side of the penalty area. Here's Steiber, the man who scored the second goal against Austria. The ball is floated into the near post, and Halldórsson, the goalkeeper, has got possession of it for Iceland. He's all in red.
Great communication there from Halldórsson. You can see the defender there ducking out the way. He hears a nice early call, and it just simplifies things and gives the possession back to Iceland.
Not sure what Kirai was doing earlier on, the goalkeeper at the other end, when that corner was being taken. He's always been a little bit eccentric.
That's goalkeepers fear, you know, they get a little bit bored, they wonder a little bit, and yeah, I think it was just his starting position. He was just pretending to stand out on the 6-yard line, but as soon as the Icelandic player looked like he was going to take it, he got back in.
Here's Gudmundsson for Iceland, back into the centre circle, worked first time by Gunnarsson to the near side. Sevarsson, the right back to Gunnarsson, the first Cardiff City player ever to appear in the European finals tournament.
Bluebirds.
Yep, and he's in blue today too. The ball is out on the far side with Iceland. They have to scurry to clear downfield, and the header from Bodvarsson does not find his colleague Sigthorsson, and it's through to Gabor Kirai. Sigthorsson of Nantes, 6'1", very good with his back to goal, commits a lot of fouls, gets a lot of flicks forward as well for Iceland. He's kind of the Kevin Davis of Icelandic football.
Yep.
Sigthorsson.
Listen, it takes all sorts, and if that's your game plan to play a little bit longer and get the second balls, then it's great to have a player of that ability where he can win a lot of balls in the air and be very competitive aerially. Ooh.
13 minutes played. Hungary awarded a free kick as the challenge came in from behind. It was not the nicest of tackles from Kari Arnason. It was a clear foul on Thomas Priskin and a free kick for Hungary in the white, and an opportunity to plant this with some depth and some meaning into that Iceland penalty area from a couple of yards in from the near touchline, which is the left for Hungary.
Good use of the body there from Priskin, the centre forward for Hungary, number 19. Got his body in between the ball and the defender. No way that the defender could get the ball, won the free kick. Good opportunity to get it in the box.
Zizek is going to take it, left-footed, captain of Hungary, in towards the penalty spot area and headed up and over the top of the bar. I think it was Priskin who got to it in the end. A little glancing header, and it was always sailing over the top.
Yeah, it's just a little bit high. I feel he could really struggle to hit the target from there. Might have been better letting it go and seeing if he could get a ricochet for one of the defenders.
What about Priskin coming in for poor old Solai? Solai scored his first goal in 41 matches, the first goal against Austria, and now he's dropped.
Yeah, I mean, they say goals change games, but also goals do change the confidence of players, and especially forward players. So it might have been interesting to see how he got on, if he did play on. But for me, he didn't have a good game at all. The fact that he scored the winning goal, it really kind of shadowed his performance, which was quite poor on the day.
It was a goal that looked good though, involving a couple of 1-2s with the playmaker Kleinheisler, and there is Kleinheisler in possession, the man who's been compared to Paul Scholes because he's got red hair, not because of his all-round skills, I don't think. And the ball is overhit here by Hungary and behind for
on cue.
A throw in, yeah, on cue. That was why he is not being compared to Paul Scholes in footballing terms.
Yeah, he just dragged his attempted switch ball a little bit inside, and he went out for a goal kick. But no, he's a good player, lots of energy. You know, you do concern yourself for light skinned players in this heat, but he played very well in the first game, and he looks like he's got a lot of energy about his game.
Yes, it's 22 degrees the air temperature in Marseille, but a bit more steamy than that down at pitch level. Hungary work the ball back to the edge of their own penalty area. Very vibrant atmosphere around the grounds. Happily no news of any further trouble. It looked like party mood. We were seeing a few videos of the Hungarians and the Icelandic supporters in the streets of Marseille, and a totally different atmosphere to the time when England and Russia were in town.
Absolutely, and this is what we wanted to see, these kind of scenes and these kind of atmospheres. Both sets of fans there really appreciating how well their nations have done to get to the tournament and how well they've started the competition.
Zizek on the far side for Hungary, faced by two defenders as he cuts in towards the edge of the penalty area on his left foot. He's still going. There comes the shot, blocked by Aron Gunnarsson, who flung himself in the path of that one. It was hit with some venom there by Zizek, but the Icelandic captain made the block, and I think he's been winded by the pace of the ball into the midsection of his body, shall we say, and the ball is cleared by Iceland.
Yeah, too easy for Zizek there as he came in off the right wing onto his favoured left side. He was looking to get the shot off. Players were diving in and selling themselves, and in the end it opened up for him, but a fantastic block from the captain, but needn't have taken that. Players need to stay on the feet.
Here's Kleinheisler to Stieber down the near side for Hungary, but he's dispossessed very easily by Sevarsson, and Sevarsson clears up the near touchline. It stays in play. Sigthorsson gets his head to it and has given it straight back to Hungary, which was a little bit of an error, and the ball is back via Guzmic to Naj, who's playing very deep at the start of this game for Hungary.
Yeah, looking to dictate the play, get on the ball, recycle it. I think you look at the pattern of the play now in this game, and Hungary are starting to take control. They've got a lot more possession than the Icelandic players, and as you can see, the Icelandic players have realised they're too good in possession. There's no point squeezing, so they're going to get back and defend from the halfway line.
Yes, two nations on an emotional high after their endeavours in the first set of matches, and it's Hungary who seem to have settled the better here, and they're coming forward again with Stieber up towards the edge of the penalty area, works it wide. Here's a chance maybe for the shot from Zuzak, and it's cleared away inside the 6-yard box by the defender Sigurdsson. He got his right foot to the ball to just, I think, fairly calmly nudge it away for a corner for Hungary.
Skulason, the left back for Iceland, doesn't look comfortable when he's up against Zuzak. Zuzak looks like he's got the beating of him, and he's going to need that doubling up. He needs help from his teammates, because Zuzak looks like he's having a good game.
So corner for Hungary. Zuzak is going to take it, raises both arms into the sky and plays it short in the end. In comes the cross, curled in, headed across the penalty area, but up into the air more than forwards, and Iceland are able to get it away, and I think it should be an Icelandic throw as the ball is played off the Hungarian by Savarsson, and indeed it is a throw. No, it's gone to Hungary. Kadar is going to take it. He now plays with Lech Poznan in Poland as Kadar, and the Hungarians can build again on the far side. Juhas with a touch of the ball, and now the captain Zuzak across his own half, forward by Juhas to Kleinheisler. Kleinheisler, lovely ball down the far sideline, will chase and keep it in play, close to the corner flag. He's done well, the full-back, in comes the cross, oh, it's overhit, and it's all the way through to Gudmundsson, the Charlton Athletic player on the near side, who stretches his legs for Iceland and plays it down the line. It's a good ball too, but Varsson making some territory, but Naj is across to make the block, and it's going to be a corner for Iceland. Yeah, great number 4 play there, I have to say, from Naj. Very good in possession, but this is some of the jobs that he's going to have to do. He's going to have to cover across, especially with these full-backs pushing forward. He did that well, showing a good change of pace, and conceded the corner, but great defending. More promising though from Iceland, getting the ball forward and getting out of their own half. Yes, all of the Hungarian supporters behind the goal, but Iceland are attacking in the first half, so they have a close-up view of this Icelandic corner. Kirai is staying on his line this time. It's curled in towards the centre of the goal, well headed away. Kirai is waving his defenders up, but the ball is back with Gudmundsson on the near side for Iceland. Left-footed cross, Bjarnason was in at the far post, lovely header away by Kadar. Kadar read that so well. It was an ambitious and teasing ball in towards the far post, and Kadar got there first for Hungary, and no damage done to them. It remains 0-0. And they played for 20 minutes. Yeah, very dangerous cross into that far post area there from the Iceland players. Good defending in the end, but they were under pressure on the back foot. Zuzak just early has got to be very careful. He was in the box, he'd lost possession, and the Icelandic player, I'm not sure who it was on the ball, and he just lashed out of him from the wrong side. He's got to be careful, because if the player goes down there, he's given the referee a decision to make, and being wrong side, that could have ended up a penalty. Hungary in possession, 0-0 in this match in Marseille, Group F of the European Championship 2016, and the other two teams in the group play later at 8 o'clock. We'll be there live. Portugal against Austria, and Thierry Henry is part of our team for that one. And prior to the game, by the way, at 7 o'clock, a special edition of 606. It is a Saturday after all. Kelly Cates, John Motson will be taking your calls, and as I said, Thierry Henry will be on site as well for that one. Portugal against Austria. Already it's been a big day of sport elsewhere, with England winning the Test series in the Rugby Union Down Under against the Australians. They're 2-0 up with one test to be played after their success in Melbourne, beating the Wallabies by 23 points to 7. Wales were beaten by New Zealand for a second consecutive weekend, 36-22 to the All Blacks, but Scotland beat Japan by 26 points to 13. Andy Murray is through to the final at Queen's Club in the tennis, and a victory for the Queen on the last day of Royal Ascot, with a victory for Dartmouth. Great reaction Eddie Jones has got from the lads. Keep on winning. Yeah, they've won every single game, haven't they, under Eddie Jones, the England Rugby Union team. The final test, and they'll be going for the whitewash is next Saturday morning in Sydney, live on the 5 Live, of course. We can now go to the third day, but I think still the second round of the US Open Golf in Oakmont. Let's get the latest from Ian Carter.
That's absolutely right, Ian, and a change at the top of the leaderboard because Gregory Bordy of France, who opened the outright lead, has just bogeyed the 16th, so he's back to 4 under, sharing the lead with Dustin Johnson, who's in the clubhouse. Rory McIlroy, a double bogey on the 11th, he slips to 5 over par. Now his work is to make sure he makes the cut.
Thanks, Ian. There'll be commentary later on this evening on 5 Live Sports Extra on the third day of the US Open, and the climax tomorrow on 5 Live Sports Extra, then after 10 o'clock here on 5 Live. Live golf from Pennsylvania. This is live football. The match is in Marseille. It's Iceland 0, Hungary 0. And it's really, as yet, still to ignite, I think, this game. Yeah,
it kind of reflects most games in the Euros this time round, because I think everyone's organised. Each nation's come organised. They're not going gung-ho, cavalier for games to win games in the first half. They're being nice and compact, not committing too many players forward, so it's very difficult to break them down. So this is just going with the flow, I think.
I think for Hungary, a draw would suit, having already got 3 points on the board. For Iceland, I think even prior to the tournament, this is the match that they would have put down as the one they really do need to try and win. That's notwithstanding the fact they already have drawn against Portugal.
Yeah, and they've got Austria to come, and Austria will be a wounded animal with the performance against Hungary in the first game. And they've got Portugal to play, obviously, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's a difficult task for them, because at the moment the Hungarians have got the supremacy in possession.
Yeah, they're dominating the ball, aren't they?
Dictating the play, and they look the more dangerous side.
I think Kleinheis left for them. Sorry, Trevor, I thought he was going to produce a decent ball there, but instead he switches it to the far side. But as you say, the Hungarians are completely keeping control of the ball. It's Ireland leading South Africa by 26 points to 10 in another Rugby Union International. That's the second test as well in South Africa. That's with 20 minutes remaining. Ireland, remember, won the first test in dramatic circumstances, down to 14 men for a lot of the game and down to 13 men for some of the game, and they're doing it again against the Springboks. We'll keep you in contact with that one. The ball is played forward by Hungary. It's a loose ball, and it's given straight to Arneson, and he finds his goalkeeper, Halldórsson, who clears it over the halfway line. The supporters over in the stand on the far side, totally bathed in sunlight, but most of the ground in shadow because of the magnificent new roof that has been constructed at the Stade Velodrome, the 67,000 all-seater stadium. Here is Stieber to Kleinheisler for Hungary, right on the edge of the penalty area. He's taken it wide on the near side, plays it in a loose one into the box, easily headed away and cleared eventually by Iceland, but picked up by Hungary on the halfway line. And Iceland at the moment struggling to get out of their own half. It is all Hungary, it is all the white shirts, but they haven't really created a clear opening so far. Iceland on the back foot. Well, Iceland, the most sparsely populated country in Europe, but their penalty area was well and truly populated against Portugal, and it's going that way again, isn't it?
It is. They're giving up possession very easily. For me, they've got to change it a little bit, because at the moment they're going too long, too early. The centre forward is getting no help, no support, and it's very easy for Hungary to just win the ball back and start again.
Iceland 0, Hungary 0, 26 minutes played, and here's Gudmundsson on the near side, almost certain to be leaving Charlton after their relegation to League One, concentrating on national matters at the moment as the ball is clipped across the Hungarian half. It's headed out of play by Zuzak, and it will be a throw-in far side for Iceland. Can they get some kind of foothold in the game? And then from Iceland, the land of the geysers and the glaciers and the fields, the ball is with them. Here's Gylfi Sigurdsson to Jarnason down the far side, taking on Naj. Naj is so comfortable just sitting in front of his back four and mopping up, intercepting things, but his clearance here for Hungary is a little bit loose, and it's picked up by Skulason for Iceland. He runs into a very rugged challenge, but it breaks back for Iceland and Gylfi Sigurdsson. I just wonder if they dare push Gylfi Sigurdsson a little bit further forward, where he might do a little bit of damage, but they need him as the man in midfield as well.
Well, they need him, but they need to get him on an angle so he can receive the ball, because at the moment it's just missing him out. It's going long straight away, and every time he's
what's Kirai up to now? He's distributed the ball by throwing it backwards through his legs.
This is goalkeepers, they're crazy. He's obviously getting a bit bored. He's not being used much, and he decided to throw it through his legs.
He's in his 41st year. He looks most of those years as well, doesn't he?
You said that, not me. He's enjoying himself.
He's a little world.
He's enjoying himself. He's enjoying himself. He got a clean sheet in the first game, and I'm sure he's hoping that the team and his defence in front of him can help him keep a clean sheet for this second game as well.
He's obviously not happy with the entertainment level at the moment. Still 0-0. Here's Naj for Hungary in the green boots. He needs support. Kadar on the near side shakes the ball into the inside left position. Priskin tried to latch onto that one, but Arnason was across to clear it into touch. No problems whatsoever, as we see a replay of Kirai distributing the ball one-handed through his legs.
That's disguise.
As you do.
Really impressed with Bernd Stark, the manager of Hungary, the German man. He was the youth team coach for Hungary, and he's been brought up for a year to look after the national team, and done really well. Made 3 changes for this game from the opening game, and the players look to have settled really well, and they're dominating procedures here.
Klein Heisler back into his own half, and the ball is with Guzmic, former Blackburn trialist. Most of the players on the pitch here have either played for a British club or tried their luck on trial with a British club. The ball's on the far side now with Zuzak for Hungary. Low ball into the box, cleared away by Sigurdsson, and a throw-in on the far side for the Hungarians to take. In the shadows. The pitch, as I was saying, a little bit the worse for wear, a little threadbare. I think maybe the new roof has interfered with the sunlight getting through. The grass hasn't grown quite as well as they wanted, and I was told that the two nations trying to prepare for this game, Iceland and Hungary, were told not to train on it.
Yeah, just to preserve it a little bit better for match day. I can understand that.
Here's Zuzak, good run by the Hungarian. Low ball into the penalty area. Nobody quite read his intention, least of all Thomas Priskin, and it runs all the way through the box, unattended, out for a goal kick for Iceland. Iceland playing from left to right.
Great idea from Zuzak there. Priskin and him are not quite on the same wavelength there. He's tried to play a little reverse angled ball in behind the defender. If Priskin read that and was on his back foot looking to get in behind, that would have been a fantastic ball and great opportunity. I think a little bit of communication now while the ball's dead would be a good thing for them two, to understand what they want from each other, so that doesn't happen again.
Well, I hope Cristiano Ronaldo is watching to see how the game should be played ahead of his match against Austria later on. We'll have full coverage of that, of course, on 5 Live from 8 o'clock with Thierry Henry and the team. Kelly Cates and John Motson and Thierry Henry all in place ahead of that game, when we'll have an edition of 6:06, so you can get your calls in very shortly, I'm sure. Here's Gudmundsson for Iceland, saved by Kirai. More orthodox from the goalkeeper this time. He protects his net with an outstretched boot and arm down to his right hand side. All of a sudden a flurry and a flourish from Iceland, and Gudmundsson was through, and he should really have beaten the goalkeeper, but I think he was as surprised as any of us that the ball ran through to him. He was very strong in winning the ball inside the box. The finish, though, was relatively weak.
Yeah, Kadai's got to realise he's not going to win that ball and get goal side. He tried to strengthen and battle for the ball for the wrong side. Good play by the forward, one-on-one. I mean, the goalkeeper stood up well, but you've got to test it better than that. You know, he'll be looking at that Gudmundsson and thinking that was a golden opportunity to put his country 1-0 up. That was the first time that Iceland got the ball through the midfield with good passing, and then got it forward into the final third without a long ball, and it paid off. They should be looking to do that more so.
Out of nothing, out of somewhere in the North Atlantic, suddenly a chance for Iceland, and a big one. Long throw from Aron Gunnarsson into the penalty area, meaterly headed away at the back there by Hungary. Sigthorsson couldn't get onto it, but it will be another throw. Aron Gunnarsson, there's no secret about his weaponry. It'll be a long throw from the Icelandic captain. 10 yards from the corner flag, in towards the near post. Plenty of distance on it, but easily headed away by Hungary. Not quite the accuracy on the throw. Back in deep by Savarsson for Iceland. Sigthorsson heads it on, but it's behind his colleague Bjarnason, and it's carried away by Long up the far side for Hungary. He gets the ball back eases it up the touchline. Hungary felt there might have been a foul. I think the referee from Russia was playing an advantage that never came, and Iceland have got the ball back.
Yeah, he did have the advantage, but he gave a poor pass afterwards where he had many other options, and the referee thought, well, you've had your advantage now, no free kick.
32 minutes on the watch. Iceland 0, Hungary 0. The match in Marseille has produced that one big opening. It fell against the flow of the game, certainly for Iceland. And they're coming forward again. Here's Bjarnason just outside the penalty area, looking for Gylfi Sigurdsson, jockeying for position on his right foot, good feet onto his left, and he just taps it forward into the penalty area. I was expecting him to shoot, and I think his teammates were as well, and nobody read his intention. And now the Hungarians might be able to break with Zizek. He's herring away over the touchline and over the halfway line on the far side into Kleinheisler. Back to Zizek inside the penalty area. Excellent challenge on the slide from Ragnar Sigurdsson, and it's behind for a corner for Hungary. The match is opening up.
That sliding tackle had to be timed perfectly, and it was super tackle by Sigurdsson at the back, or he was in there for a golden opportunity. Corner ball, good play, good counter-attacking play there by the Hungarians.
Yeah, the big centre-backs are coming forward, Guzmix and Uhas, and it will be a corner taken by Kleinheisler this time. They've changed the corner taker, curled in towards the far post, long heads it back across the penalty area. It's just beyond Guzmix, back out to the far side. Kleinheisler hits one, right across the face of goal off his left foot, and it didn't sail too far wide of that far post as the man from Werder Bremen cut into the penalty area. He was certainly going for goal, and it was about a yard, maybe 6 feet, 2 yards wide of the far post.
Brilliant disguise, looked like he was going to cross it with his right foot, feinted to pass it, come inside onto his left foot and looked to curl it into the far top corner. The goalkeeper didn't move, he was a spectator. If that was on target, he would have been picking it out the back of the net, just wide.
10 minutes to go in the rugby in South Africa. It is 26-22 now. Ireland still in front, but South Africa biting back, looking to level the series if they possibly can. But the Irish still in front, and certainly doing better than their football team, or at least the Republic of Ireland football team, who earlier were beaten 3-0 by Belgium in Bordeaux in the first of our Euro 2016 commentaries here on 5 Live from the BBC. Now it's a free kick for Iceland. Both teams have gone pretty close in the last 5 minutes as the match begins to improve in terms of its entertainment value. It's a free kick then. Sigurdsson, all in blue for Iceland, is going to take it on his right foot, curled in, headed away very easily by Hungary. No real pressure on the defender, and Gira completes the clearance into the Icelandic half. Zoltan Gira, now at the age of 37, like his goalkeeper at the veteran stage, you might say, but still doing a job in the midfield for Hungary. A man who had a very good career, actually, didn't he, with West Brom and Fulham, Zoltan Gira.
He was, yeah, a very good player. I played against him a couple of times for West Brom, when he played for West Brom. Always looked to get a shot in, got a great strike at goal, and he's an industrious player. I think he's improved with age, and he'll be enjoying this twilight of his career in the major championship.
Talking of twilights, on the bench for Iceland is Eidur Gudjonsson. He's 37 as well, once of Chelsea and Barcelona.
What a player he was.
Yep. He's been playing recently for Mold, and the coach, Lars Lagerbäck, said if he got game time he'd be in the squad, and he has been playing regularly. The ball is played in by Iceland from the far side, and it floats behind. That was very poor from Skulason, and it's behind for a goal kick, and they look a little disgruntled on the Icelandic bench. Lars Lagerbäck is the co-coach, really, with Heimir Hallgrímsson, and Hallgrímsson, who is Icelandic himself, will be taking over the reins all on his own at the end of this European campaign. You just wonder how far Iceland can go. At the moment, they're sitting on a second point in the group. It's Iceland 0, Hungary 0. 36 and a half minutes gone, and the lava flow of the game in the last few minutes has been fairly even.
Yep, I think it's been exciting first half. It's been quite expansive, really, compared to some of the other games. We've had shots on target, shots off target, situations in and around the final third, and again here.
Sigurdsson through the middle here for Iceland. Sigthorsson from the angle drills in the shot. Kadar with a block, Guzmix was across there too, right in front of the striker, the big number 9, the big bruising number 9 for Iceland. He had space as the ball was played to him on the right side of the penalty area. One touch, then the shot, and then the block. And it was Guzmix who made the final crucial intervention, but it is a corner.
Yeah, good effort. Broke down from giving the ball away in your own final third. But you look at Guzmix, he stayed on his feet, he didn't sell himself, he made himself very big and made a good block in the end. Great defending.
It'll be an in-swinging corner to be taken by Johan Gudmundsson from the near side. Kirai comes off the line and drops the ball. He's on all fours inside the penalty area, and it's going to be a penalty. It's a penalty for Iceland. Aron Gunnarsson was upended after Kirai, the goalkeeper, the eccentric goalkeeper, came off his line, juggled with the ball, lost it. The Hungarians surrounding the Russian referee saying surely that is not a spot kick, but Kirai, well, he came for the ball, he was under no great pressure. For some odd reason he dropped it. Then he was stumbling all over the place. Gunnarsson took the ball on, then he was tripped. I think the penalty was given for the trip by Gunnarsson on Gunnarsson, not the foul by the goalkeeper. We'll need to see another replay to totally establish that. But Kirai, the oldest keeper in town, has to atone for his own error by trying to save the penalty, which is going to be taken by Swansea City's Gylfi Sigurdsson. A chance for Iceland to take the lead in a match for a first time ever at a finals tournament. The nation of 330,000 holds its breath. Gylfi Sigurdsson with a short run-up on the whistle of the Russian referee will take it right-footed and scores. Kirai goes the wrong way. The ball is neatly into the far bottom corner, and the Icemen cometh again, because Iceland lead Hungary by 1-0, and Gylfi Sigurdsson has scored his 14th international goal, and the Icelandic support in wild celebration.
Never in doubt that. I think he's one of the most sound technical players that we've got in the Premier League. You know, you see him putting the ball in the top corner from 25 yards over a wall. There was little chance for me he was going to miss that. I'm not sure about the penalty though, I've got to say. Kadar made the challenge, but it was very, very theatrical the way he went down. Fantastic technique, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way. But let's go back to Kirai. We were talking about him earlier. He was throwing the ball between his legs. He was, you know, clowning about. I'm not sure mentally he's been at it today, and I think he's caused his own problems there. Easy take from a corner. He's looking to disperse the ball before he caught it. It's an age-old problem for a goalkeeper who's looking for the next phase of something before he's retained the ball, and in the end it ends up in the back of the net from 12 yards out. Big mistake, and that could be key in this game.
Well, he's been fooling around. He's not been concentrating on the basics, and when it came to the basic principle of catching the corner, and it was straightforward, he dropped it. And then there was half a foul by him, and there was half a foul by Kadar. I think the penalty was given for the second offence, Kadar stumbling into Aron Gunnarsson.
I agree, but I think it was soft. I don't feel it was a penalty, but the penalty's been given. You know, our opinion doesn't matter. The referee thought it was a penalty. He gave that decision and he was adamant by it. But going back to Kirai, you know, he's 40 years old. He's the most experienced player at this tournament. He should know better. You know, things like that, you do silly things on the pitch like that, and usually it comes back and bites you in the backside, and that's exactly what's happened in this game, and I'm sure he'll be kicking himself at half-time.
Well, we heard him before the opening match against Austria talking about the lucky tracksuit bottoms. They weren't lucky there, and neither were his gloves.
Well, he looked like he had a little bit of washing up liquid on his gloves, and he was struggling to get the soap. You know, he went out, the ball was his, there was no player really near him, so you can't say that he was put off by another player. There was lots of bodies around him, but he just needed to make sure that that ball stuck, and he was unable to do that. Again, concentration, you've got to question the concentration and his mentality.
A yellow card now for Johan Gudmundsson, the midfielder for Iceland, just shoving his arm out into the face of Klein Heisler.
Ooh.
Just
nearly a
finger in the eye almost.
Nearly a gouge. I don't think it was on purpose, but yeah, it was almost a gouge into his eye there. Very uncomfortable.
So Gudmundsson into the book, but Iceland leading by 1-0 in Marseille. The fairy story has another at least half a chapter now, because we're very close to half-time. 3 minutes left. The goal came in the 40th minute from Sigurdsson of Swansea City, from the spot, beating the former Crystal Palace goalkeeper Gaba Kirai with ease.
A little bit against the run of play, although Iceland have been getting back into the game towards the end of this first half. But you would say the lion's share of possession has been with the Hungarians, and the chances have been probably quite even when you look at the way that Iceland did create one or two chances prior to the goal.
Yeah, Gudmundsson should have scored as well, shouldn't he, when Kirai did actually make a save.
And it's not like that Iceland have had to do anything exceptional to create their opportunities, so I think it's a little bit, again, concentration from the back four of the Hungarians, switching on. And when you've got so much of the possession, it's about being alert and being aware of what's around you, because sometimes you can ball watch and not know where the forwards are for the opposition.
Yeah, they'll be dancing in the streets of Reykjavik and Keflavik at the moment with this scoreline. 1-0 to Iceland. 2 minutes left of normal time in the first 45 minutes, and here they come again down the near side. It's a decent run by Bodvarsson. The challenge is made by Guzmic.
Outstanding.
And it was a good tackle too. He's left his opponent on the floor, writhing in a fair degree of agony, and the Hungarians are thinking of kicking the ball out so that the Icelandic striker can receive some treatment. But that was what you call a robust tackle. Just got a toe end onto the ball, or else it would have been a free kick and maybe a yellow card.
Guzmic has made an absolutely unbelievably timed challenge there. Sliding tackle, probably with his wrong foot. I would have imagined the best foot to go with the left foot there. He went with his right, stuck his toe out. He got a little bit of the man just prior to the ball for me, but the linesman nor the referee could see that, and yeah, it was quite a heavy challenge to take.
1 minute to be played in South Africa in the Rugby Union Test, and South Africa have taken the lead, 29-26 to South Africa. That is very, very tight, but the series could be levelled. We'll let you know in just a moment or two here on Five Live when the full-time whistle is blown there. We're very close to the half-time whistle in this match in Marseille, where it's Iceland 1, Hungary 0. Iceland came from behind, of course, to earn that sensational point against Portugal, and here they have the lead. Could they possibly have 4 points by the end of this one, ahead of their final match against Austria? And that would surely be enough to allow Iceland to continue beyond the group stages. Remember, it's the first time they've ever qualified for anything at all in their history. The ball's on the far side with Hungary. We're watching out for the fourth official, who's from Belarus, to see how much time has been added on at the end of the first half in Marseille. Here's Gira for Hungary, just a little shell-shocked after conceding that penalty and the goal. It's turned down the far touchline towards Lung, and he's beaten in the air. The ball's gone out of play though for a Hungarian throw. 1 minute added on at the end of the first half. Can Iceland see it through to the break with their lead intact? The ball is cleared away by Gunnarsson, their captain, scoops it away left-footed out for a throw on the far side. Throw in taken in front of all of the Icelandic supporters. We've heard their rather chilling chanting, their warrior-like chorus at times in the first half here, and they're absolutely loving it at the moment in Marseille and in France generally. The ball is hit long by Hungary down the far side. Just 15 seconds remaining of stoppage time in the first half, and the Hungarians look a little bit disorganised.
They've been rattled. Yeah, the goals certainly rattled them a little bit, like I say, a little bit against the run of play, but this is where you prove your mental strength.
That's half time, and it's 1-0 to Iceland. It's been fairly even. I just said the flow of the game was changing a little bit in Iceland's favour when all of a sudden Kirai had that rush of blood, dropped the ball, penalty was conceded, Iceland score. Trevor Sinclair.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's talk about shooting yourself in the foot. Kirai, I think you look at the way the game flowed, and I think Iceland were getting back in the game, but not really on top. And then obviously Kirai with that poor handling of the ball from the corner, letting the ball go, ended up conceding a penalty, and fantastic technique by Gylfi Sigurðsson. You wouldn't imagine he would miss that when he scores from 25 yards over walls into the top corner, sent the keeper the wrong way, and you know Kirai will be kicking himself. You know, he's the most experienced player in the tournament, but he will be kicking himself at half time in the changing room, thinking, why was I fooling about?
Yes, come on, Mr. Kirai. Let's see you in shorts for the second half. Half-time, Iceland 1, Hungary 0. Yes, thank you very much, Kelly. We're all set for the second half. Iceland, as you say, leading thanks to that penalty from Gylfi Sigurdsson of Swansea City 5 minutes before half-time. It followed the comedy capers from Kirai in the Hungarian goal, dropping the ball. The defenders panicked around him. It was a bit of a harsh penalty as Kadar clattered into Aron Gunnarsson, but it was given by the Russian referee, and it was clinically dispatched by Gylfi Sigurdsson for his 14th goal for his country. And Iceland on the, not quite on the brink, but 45 minutes away from another piece of history, their first ever win in a major tournament finals. Do you think Hungary have the wherewithal to get back into this one, Trevor Sinclair?
I think they've got the ability up until the final third. Whether they've got the ability to get the ball actually between the sticks and in the back of the net, I'm not so sure. They didn't show too much creativity in that final third, or finishing touches in the final third. They need to improve on that if they're going to get anything out of this game. But I've got to give credit to Iceland. They've conducted themselves really well, started on the back foot, grown into the first half, and let's see if they can build on that.
There's the whistle from the Russian referee, and we're underway in the second half. Hungary all in white, playing from left to right. Iceland all in blue. No substitutions at half-time. A reminder of the teams in a second or so, but Hungary trying to launch something straight away down the far left-hand side, but it's cleared away well by Savarsson out the back. The right back for Iceland, and Hungary, well, they've lost it. They've lost control of the ball on the halfway line. Poor touch by Kadar, and it will be a throw-in for Iceland. Gunnarsson, the Cardiff City player, throws it longishly into the Hungarian half, but it's won by the Hungarians, and they have possession just outside their own penalty area. Nagy gets deeper and deeper to collect the ball, and he's waving his arms, spreading his arms. He wants the team to split ahead of him to give him more options. They're a little bit narrow. It's back again to Nagy, wearing number 8, one of the two Ferencváros players at the base of the midfield for Hungary, out to the far side. Kadar down the line to Kleinheisler, who might be the man to bring them back into the game, one of their more skillful ball players, along with Zizek, the captain. And Hungary still have possession, trying to work something down the near side. Here's Uhaj in possession. Uhaj back to Long, and he turns it back into his own half. Back to man of the moment, Gabo Kirai, who has indeed changed into shorts for the second half. Only joking. That was never going to happen, was it, Trevor?
I was going to say, am I seeing things? I'm sure he had his faithful grey jogging bottoms on.
No, the long johns are still on. The ball is cleared away there by Iceland at the back. It is Sigurdsson on his right foot. It's going to be a throw-in 15 yards away from the corner flag as Hungary attack on the left. Kleinheisler running at Gudmundsson, trying to take on the Icelandic midfielder, who backtracks ever so well and holds him up. Now it's Gira back into midfield. Chance for the ball to be played into the penalty area. Here's an opening for Priskin, rising 6 yards out. Couldn't make contact under the ball, under heavy pressure from the covering defender, and the ball is away, and Hungary miss half an opening. Priskin was coming in, and it was a little back flick header away by Sigurdsson just in front of him. Very deft defending.
Great marshalling from Sigurdsson there. Lovely little flick. Priskin was there ready to finish it. Good cross into a good area. Keeper had no chance. He's actually given the foul against the attacking player. Superb defending there.
Yeah, still goes down as a very good piece of defending by the other Sigurdsson. They've got two of them in the team, of course. Here's Gudmundsson on the far side for Iceland. Tries to turn it up the right touchline. Savarsson is giving chase, but Hungary have occupied themselves with the ball again. Kadar flicks it forward. He was fouled in the process of doing so. So Iceland unchanged from the 1-1 with Portugal, and unchanged at half-time. Halldórsson in goal, then Savarsson, Sigurdsson, Arnason and Skulason, then Gudmundsson, Sigurdsson, Gunnarsson, Bjarnason, Sigthorsson and Bodvarsson. The ball is with Hungary on the far side. Their line-up in just a second. They made 3 changes coming into the game though. Solai, the man who scored the first goal against Ostia, dropped to the bench. perhaps brooding on the bench, wearing number 9. That was his first goal in 41 matches, but overlooked for the starting lineup here. And now Aron Gunnarsson has gone in heftily on Klein Heisler and has given away a free kick in a dangerous area. This is a free kick for Hungary. It's only a little over 25 yards out, at an angle, out to the left-hand side. Aron Gunnarsson dangled a leg and just clipped his man. Not much in it, but enough contact.
Stamp on the toe. The old ones are the best. That'll slow him down a little bit mistimed, but dangerous position now for Hungary. 10-15 yards outside the 18-yard box, a little bit of width on there. You've got the option to the left.
There is a wall being erected, an Icelandic wall, and it's basically on the 18-yard line with a little bit of an angle. Zuzak, the captain, the skipper of Hungary, the creative force, and he had a bit of culture with a decent ball in from this free kick for Hungary. Trailing 1-0, he plays it low into the penalty area. It's Black with Klein Heisler, and his shot is over the top of the bar. It was a clever little routine. The ball was played in short to Gira. He dabbed it back to Klein Heisler just outside the D, and it's over the top of the bar.
Yeah, good execution of a set piece made on the training ground. Really creative, well done to the coach there. The players nearly pulled it off. Just the final touch again, missing the target on the shot from about 20 yards out. Should do better.
It remains Iceland 1, Hungary 0. You're listening to 5 Live from the BBC. It's Euro 2016, and here's Klein Heisler down the far side again for Hungary on the left, level with the penalty area. Plays it in low. That was telegraphed and easily cleared away by Skulason. It was obvious where the ball was going to go, but Iceland have only partially cleared their lines. It's back with Hungary inside their own half. Naj has meandered over halfway for once, only by a yard, mind you, and he's got it back in the centre circle where he tries to dictate things with the ball out to the far side. Hungary in possession. Gira collects it just inside the Icelandic half. He was heftily challenged as he tried to lay the ball out to the near side. As a result of that, he totally overhits it, and it's out for a throw-in for Iceland.
Yeah, the ball into him, just a little bit lethargic, a little bit lazy pass into him, and then his touch was just a little bit off, and then the final ball out resulted from the 2 bits of mistakes earlier, and it was out of play.
Now the whistle's been blown. Free kick for Hungary, who have Kirai in goal, then Long, Guzmic, Juhas and Kadar. Naj and Gira at the heart of the midfield. Klein Heisler ahead of them, Stiba, Zuzak, and then Tamas Priskin, the former Watford man, up front for Hungary, who trail by a goal to 0. Aron Gunnarsson is down on his haunches, the captain of Iceland with the Viking looks, and he is on his feet again and will trot back into a defensive position as the free kick is taken short and right by Hungary. Forward it goes by Juhas. He gets it back, wearing number 23. First start of the tournament for him. Plays it to Gira. Gira back into his own half. They're content to go backwards just to keep the ball, and Iceland will be packing their half of the field. They are still playing, though, ostensibly with 2 up front. Although, when Hungary have got the ball in their own half, they've got every single Icelandic player facing them. Iceland all in blue. And here is Gunnarsson clearing to touch. Earlier, Republic of Ireland 0, Belgium 3. Later, Portugal against Austria. Thierry Henry, part of our team there in the Parc de France for that game. The Portuguese and the Austrians with amends to make, I think, in the eyes of their supporters. After their initial games, they were on the receiving end of the exploits of Iceland and Hungary last Tuesday. Iceland 1, Hungary 0. As things stand, Iceland heading up to 4 points. Hungary would be on 3, and Portugal and Austria would be the bottom 2 heading into their head-to-head match this evening. Hungary in possession. Kadar out to the far side. Here's Stiba. Stiba into Klein Heisler. Needs support on the far side from Kadar. Chance maybe to cross. Stabs it in low into the penalty area for Stiba, who goes over. And they're looking for a reciprocal penalty from the referee from Russia. He says no. He tells the Hungarian player to get up.
Yeah, no, strong challenge, but no penalty for me. Went over a lot, very easy when made the challenge against him, Stabler. Very strong challenge by Sigurdsson, but no foul.
Here's Long for Hungary. He's won the ball inside the Icelandic half. He's only 25 yards out. Thought about a shot plays it in short instead to Klein Heisler. There's a bit of a mix-up on the edge of the penalty area, and the Icelandic team take advantage to lob a long one downfield, pressure on the defender Guzmix, and he does well actually to play a sensible pass to Qatar on the far side and into Naj. There's more application and there's more pace about Hungary at the start of the second half.
Yeah, I think they're encouraging it though, Iceland, because they've got everyone behind the ball. That threat's not there going forward, and I feel the Hungarian players just feel like they can go forward willy-nilly because they've got nothing dangerous behind them. They need to keep that threat up front, and if they do that, then they can't commit too many players forward, Hungary.
Here's Birkja Bjarnason, the warrior in the silver boots with the long blonde hair. Thor is his nickname. Plays in midfield for Iceland. How many passes do you think he attempted against Portugal as a midfielder in a wide position?
Well, you'd like to think he'd be into his 30s and 40s.
5.
Wow.
And 3 were accurate.
Wow. 75% pass completion.
Yeah. He hasn't seen much of the ball in this game though, has he? The ball's inside the penalty area. I think that's 60%, isn't it? 3 out of 5. Never mind. Here's Kirai bowling the ball out underarm to the far side, and up over halfway is Stieber to Kadar, and Kadar to Klein Heisler, who's come very deep to collect it again for Hungary. Most things switch through him in the heart of midfield. He tried a long raking ball out to the near side. It's chested down and brought away by Skulason for Iceland. Again, the ball forward is overhit. It's a bit of a thankless task for those Icelandic forwards, especially Sigþórsson. He was substituted late on in the Portuguese match after running himself into the ground, and something similar could occur here.
I think Sigþórsson could help himself there a little bit. He's one-dimensional, he's going long all the time. If he just checks his run at the right time when the player on the ball puts his head up, he can have it to feet and then doesn't have to chase it into the channels where he's wrong side anyway. He could help himself a lot there instead of chasing a lost cause.
Well, Bjarnason has just done well on this occasion for Iceland. He did complete a pass accurately. The thing, of course, about him is that he scored a goal, never mind how many passes you complete when you bang the ball into the back of the net, as he did against Portugal.
Hardest thing to do in the game. You know, people say to me, Michael Owen, all he used to do is score. It's not a bad habit to have, score a goal.
Monumental support for Iceland in the stadium in Marseille, all bedecked in blue, and they're watching Iceland pump a deep free kick into the Hungarian penalty area. Sigþórsson's up there, then the acrobatic overhead attempt flies way over the top of the bar. Bodvarsson it was, the other striker, number 15, acrobatic, but he toe-ended it high over the bar. And it remains 1-0 to Iceland, who are under a bit of pressure there. A loose back pass for goalkeeper Halldórsson. He does well to slide along the dead ball line, preventing the corner, but it will be a throw for Hungary. Level with the penalty area on their left far side as they attack, trailing by a goal to nil. Lots of their supporters at the end of the ground that they are attacking. They're mainly in the Hungarian red. Lovely play. Kadar on the overlap. Chance to chip it towards the far post. The goalkeeper misses out, but it's tidied up at the back post at the expense of a corner by Bjarnason, and that will be a corner for Hungary, who are stepping it up a bit, and they have to.
Great play by Klein Heisler. Fantastic disguise. Good way to pass to put in his fullback, and a good cross caused all kinds of panic in the Icelandic defence. Corner ball.
Zizek with a corner into the near post, headed away, up and away. It drops back inside the Icelandic area, but they are able to toe-poke it clear, and it's back with Naj, who collects most things in the middle of the park for Hungary. Dark-haired player, being scouted by quite a few. In comes another cross, headed away by Bjarnason again, round the back, doing well defensively for Iceland, but Klein Heisler is onto the ball again. Klein Heisler looks for an option, finds his skipper, Zizek with the fair hair, back into the centre circle. This time it's Guzmix who keeps it going for Hungary to Kadar, out to the far side. Kadar again wants it back. They are outpassing Iceland about 4 or 5 passes to 1 at the moment, but they're not making the breakthrough. They need this equaliser. Klein Heisler from a long way out launches one optimistically, and it swerves well off target, off his right foot, and another goal kick for Iceland. But as you say, Trevor, they're inviting pressure.
Inviting pressure, and it's a tsunami of control from this game. All one way. Hungary, they're not as easy as they look, them overhead kicks, by the way. All one way for Hungary. And again, like I said, I feel Iceland have got to keep that threat going forward, at least one man up there, just to give a threat and someone who can hold the ball up if they do clear. Because it's coming straight back at the moment.
It is. Kadar again for Hungary, up over halfway. Aaron Gunnarsson underneath it, but he can't really control the header. It drops into Hungarian possession again. Kadar in the green boots down the far side, overhit by the player who was at Newcastle for quite a long time. Best part of 5 years Tamas Kadar was at St James's Park, mainly played in the reserves, had his leg broken in the Tyne-Wear reserve derby by Jordan Henderson, who was playing for Sunderland at the time. Here's Bjarnason for Iceland, rare attack from them. Gylfi Sigurdsson with a cross into the middle. Oh, it's headed wide by Sigþórsson. That was a big chance for Iceland to make it 2-0 out of nowhere, but the flag, I think, was up against the big man in the middle, who might be spared his blushes. It was a lovely move, stood up cross by Gylfi Sigurdsson, and the header off target.
Beautiful technique with the cross from Gylfi Sigurdsson there. It was slightly bouncing, a little bit awkward to get hold of it. He wrapped his foot round it really well and just helped a nice easy one into that 6-yard box where the forward was running into. Good chance, but obviously offside, but he missed it and he didn't know it was offside, so that's got to go down as a bit of a miss for me. That won't do his confidence any good.
Indeed not, but Iceland still lead by 1-0. High boomed cross comes in from Hungary out to the near side, and Long can't keep it in play despite his best efforts. The ball cannons behind off his right boot, and that will be a goal kick for Iceland, and I think they will begin to take their time, certainly over all of their set pieces, goal kicks, free kicks, etc.
Zuzak, who started really well for Hungary on the right hand side, has gone a bit quiet. He's not been getting the ball, he's not been getting crosses in, not been getting shots in like he did in the opening 15 minutes. He needs to up his game and start affecting it in a positive way for the Hungarians.
Iceland working the ball down the far side with an overhead attempt by again Bodvarsson, but it runs out for a throw for Hungary deep inside their own half. Iceland would like to pin them back in that part of the pitch for at least a short while. Just isolated breakouts from Iceland, but they do have the precious 1-goal lead, which would take them to the top of Group F, and we are into the final half hour in this match being played in Marseille. Belgium beat the Republic of Ireland earlier. If you've been out and about and missed the result from Bordeaux, Lukaku with 2 and Witsel with the other goal there for Belgium. All the goals in the second half, and we heard Martin O'Neill saying at half-time that the Irish now really do need to beat Italy in their last match, and perhaps it might play into the hands that Italy are already through and could rest 1 or 2 players, but that remains to be seen. It's a conundrum for the Republic of Ireland. And later on at 8 o'clock we have Portugal against Austria, preceded by 6:06 with Kelly Cates and John Motson and Thierry Henry involved as well. He'll be part of our commentary team for the match as well between Portugal and Austria. 0500 909 693 is the number. Don't forget you can contact us on social media as well. Just look for 5 Live, you'll find us. And now we're going to see Iceland making a change. At least it is imminent, with a score 1-0 to the Icelanders. The ball has run behind for a goal kick to be taken by Gabor Kiraly, the Hungarian goalkeeper, who's had plenty of time to ponder his error which led to the penalty, which led to the goal 5 minutes before half-time. And it looks as though Iceland will be making their change shortly, with Hal Fredson coming on, the 31-year-old shaven-headed winger. Sounds familiar. He'll be on shortly.
We did inspire a few. Carbon copy, I think.
Hungary on the far side, trailing still by 1-0. Their supporters looking on anxiously from the far side. There were reports of a few disturbances prior to kick-off. Nothing since. It involved Hungarian fans, allegedly. Hungary on the edge of the penalty area as Alton Gira can't quite control the ball properly. Zuzak wins it back, though, 30 yards out from goal. Central position, 2 blue-shirted defenders around him, and he's lost it. Gylfi Sigurdsson tries to fire a long one downfield for
I think he was
Iceland.
shooting. I think he was shooting. He's seen the goalkeeper off his line. I think he was had a little look at the goal there and went for goal.
He was trying to beat Kirai from 60 yards. You never know. Here's Stieber into the penalty area for Hungary. Chips it across, headed away. We couldn't tell from our angle, of course, where Kirai was when he was trying to score from his own half. The mind boggles. The ball's on the far side with Hungary. Here is Zuzak. Zuzak with a yellow armband. Rolls it back to Kadar, who's ever more progressive down the right-hand side. Finds Gira on the edge of the area. In short to Kleinheisler. Into the penalty area. Here's half a chance for Gira, but it's slammed away by Iceland. A crowd of Icelandic defenders right in front of their goalkeeper, 8 yards from goal, and they career the ball away. But here's another wave from Hungary. They're coming forward with Kleinheisler again into the edge of the penalty area. It's half cleared by Iceland, picked up again by Guzmix and Naj for Hungary.
They've just upped the tempo, Hungary. Little ticky-tacky passes, third men runs, 1-2s around the box. That's exactly what they need to do against this compact defence from Iceland. Nearly got in there. If they continue doing that, it's going to be very problematic for Iceland to keep a clean sheet. Chances will be made.
Oh, they've committed the foul there, Iceland, on Kleinheisler. They can't believe the decision has been given. Gylfi Sigurdsson was the offender. He turns away deep in anguish, but the Russian referee has decreed it will be a free kick for Hungary. Central position, fewer than 30 yards out. Aron Gunnarsson, the skipper of Iceland, is going off. The Cardiff City man is going off, and as advertised it will be Hal Fredson who is coming on. Hal Fredson wearing number 20 for Iceland. Well, Gunnarsson's had an impact in the game because it was the foul on him which led to the penalty for Iceland. And Hal Fredson is on. Little pat on the shoulder there for his skipper. Not sure who's getting the armband. We'll watch out for that. But it is a free kick. It's a little more than 30 yards out, actually. Haven't seen it again. And it looks as though Long, the fullback, is thinking of taking it. It's driven in straight at the goalkeeper, who is able to gather it at the second time of asking. It was Hal Dawson behind it in the end. The goalkeeper, all in red, happy to grab the ball as Zizek took the free kick. It bobbled and bounced just in front of him, and he was very relieved that it stayed within reach.
Horrible ball to take for a goalkeeper, that. Dipping, a little bit of bend on it as well, and just bouncing just before it gets to him. It bounced off him, but not too far. He'll be relieved to know. And he had oncoming players looking for that second ball.
Here come Hungary again on the near side, with Kleinheisler tries to get in towards the dead ball line, and the ball's been run behind for what Hungary were hoping would be a corner, but it's a goal kick for Iceland. Iceland 1, Hungary 0 is the score on 5 Live from the BBC, and we've got 24 minutes remaining, and a couple of substitutions have been made by Hungary. Boda is on in place of Priskin, so that's the striker on. And also in the last few seconds we saw the Polish-based player coming on too, Nikolic. So two players who score a lot of goals domestically are off the bench for Hungary. Boda, leading goal scorer in the Hungarian league, and Nikolic, leading goal scorer in the Polish league.
I think they want to score some goals. Sensible from the manager. He needs to get goals into this team to get back in the game. He's brought in two very regular goal scorers who are confident coming into this tournament. They've got the opportunity now. Chris Gipp, for me, was a little bit quiet, wasn't looking dangerous. Boda's gone in for him, and it'll be interesting to see what Nikolic does.
Yeah, it's Boda and Nikolic both up front now, two up top for Hungary as they chase the game into the final quarter of it. And Gylfi Sigurdsson has been upended now by Kleinheisler, and that will be a free kick for Iceland deep inside their own half, and they're very grateful to receive this gift from the referee because Iceland are under severe pressure.
Yeah, still 20 odd minutes to go. They've got to stay calm and be patient. You know, trying to win the ball back and giving fouls away on the edge of the opposition half is not going to do any good for anybody. Let them have the ball there. They're only going to punt a long ball to your defenders anyway. Discipline, stay on your feet, and don't give cheap fouls away.
Hal Fredson with the ball into the penalty area for Iceland. He, of course, is off the bench for them. Hungary clear it away, but Bjarnason has won it. in the heart of midfield on this occasion for Iceland, and he finds Ragnar Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson left-footed, chips a long one forward. The chase is on again for the striker Bodvarsson, but it's a hopeless cause. It's easily won by the defender, but it is headed out of play for an Icelandic throw, as we see another change by Iceland, and Alfred Finnbogason is coming on, and it's Bodvarsson who goes off this time. Finnbogason, the Augsburg striker, he's had 7 clubs in 7 different leagues. He's much travelled. He scored against Arsenal for Olympiacos in the Champions League last season, and Finnbogason is on for Iceland. He's a forward, so they're not bringing on extra defenders at this stage.
That's key, because they need to keep that threat going forward, or else they'll just end up being pinned back in their own half and in their own final third.
So 2 changes each for the 2 teams here, and with 20 minutes remaining, it is 1-0 to Iceland. Earlier the Republic of Ireland were beaten 3-0. Still to come, Portugal against Austria at 8 o'clock. Before that, 6:06, 0500 909 693. The ball is played down the far side by Hungary, but it's easily intercepted by Bjarnason at the back for Iceland, and now Seversson has made ground up the far touchline, and it's out for a throw-in. Don't forget, of course, the US Open golf is continuing. There'll be coverage this evening on 5 Live Sports Extra, but we can get an update now from our correspondent Ian Carter.
Well, Dustin Johnson is going to be the halfway leader here, 4 under par. Andrew Landry has got it to 3 under par after a round of 71, so he's Johnson's closest rival. But looking further down the leaderboard, a real battle for Rory McIlroy going on right now. He has 3 holes to play at 6 over par. He's right on the cut line. He can't afford any more mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian Carter and the team will keep us right up to date with the US Open, the final day tomorrow. They'll complete the 3rd round and then play the 4th round tomorrow, all being well with the weather. And we'll have live coverage from Oakmont here on 5 Live and 5 Live Sports Extra over the next 18 hours or so. The ball is with Hungary. They trail by 1-0. They've had about 70% of the possession, but only 1 attempt so far on target. That free kick saved by Halldórsson a few moments ago. Here's Gira for them on the halfway line. The Hungarians won't be quite back to square one if they lose, but it won't be very helpful. They have possession on the far side. In comes the cross. The goalkeeper stretching, and the defender just behind him does ever so well to adjust his body position. Skulason it was, down onto his knees almost, to breast the ball away and behind for a corner as the goalkeeper was struggling. It was half off his shoulder in the end. It is a corner.
Great improvisation that to defend it.
Yeah, Kleinheisler is going to take it. Outswinger from the near side, headed away firmly at the back by Iceland, but it comes back out to the corner taker. Kleinheisler, right-footed ball, half deflected clear to the edge of the penalty area, and Iceland are onto it. Finnbogason leading the charge up towards the halfway line, but he's lost it, and Hungary win it back well. Good challenge by Naj. Gira to Kleinheisler. Kleinheisler to the edge of the penalty area. Lovely turn by Boda, but the shot had no power. Straight at the goalkeeper. Halldórsson is onto it.
Made a meal of that, Halldórsson. Didn't stick again when it went into his hands. Bounced off him. If there was a forward going in there for Hungary, that could have been very embarrassing.
Long clearance downfield by Iceland, and the header on from Sigþórsson, who's taken over the captain's armband, goes astray. The Nantes striker is now the captain of Iceland, and he will work and work and work. I'll be surprised if they don't have to change the captain again, because he does normally tire towards the end of matches. The ball is with Hungary on the far side. Kadar in possession. 18 minutes to rescue the game for the Hungarians. Here's Gira. Gira coming forward. Plays it to the left. Kleinheisler. In comes the cross. Headed away by Gylfi Sigurdsson. Kadar from long range. That's blocked. It comes back to Kadar. And his second effort of his left foot is a poor one. And he scuffs it wide of the far post. But Gylfi Sigurdsson, we see him as a creative player mainly for Swansea City. But with Iceland, he has to dig in. He was the man back there inside the penalty area, clearing the ball away.
Yep, he's putting the right grafting session in there. You know, he's, as we say, we usually see him in that number 10 role, getting involved offensively. But he's really digging in and helping the Icelandic defence out there. Just shielding the front two, the back two. and stopping anything easy going to the centre forwards of Hungary.
Yeah, you can hear the support rising for the two teams around the ground in Marseille, but it's Iceland who lead by 1-0, and it's Hungary on the attack. We've said that so often in the second half, but Iceland might be able to break. Sigþórsson finds the other substitute who's over the halfway line, Hallfredsson.
Great touch.
Nice touch by him to Bjarnason. Bjarnason, by the way, has moved into a midfield role in the centre where Gunnarsson was playing, and that has allowed the substitute Hallfredsson to play in a wider position, but he is tucking in quite a bit as well. Here come Hungary. It's a storming run from the back, and the ball into the penalty area goes astray, and the referee has spotted a foul as the ball was played forward there by Guzmix. It was a fantastic run by the centre back, and Alfred Finnbogason was the man chasing back to make the tackle. He's come on as a latest substitute in both matches, has Finnbogason, and he's been booked in both matches, and that means he'll miss the final match of the group for Iceland against Austria.
Yeah, a little bit of a lazy one that. He got wrong side of Guzmix, who made a splendid run, anticipated, nicked the ball off the forward, ran into the heart of the defence, and Finnbogason, wrong side, give a cheap, cynical foul away, and he'll miss the next game for his troubles.
Zuzak again is over the free kick, as ever for Hungary. The wall is being marched back, and the vanishing spray is applied about 9 inches outside of the penalty area. That gives you an idea of the geography. Hungary then threatening this equaliser. Zuzak on his left foot, 5 in a wall, he goes for goal, and it's claimed easily by the goalkeeper. It sticks in his gloves. Haldórsson has got it. He stood centrally, he didn't take a step either way as some goalkeepers do as the ball comes over the wall, and he stood his ground and he got his reward.
Yeah, he stayed centrally. I'm not sure how much of the ball he could see from when the ball was being kicked, but he got it right, stayed centrally, good hands, made it stick.
Yes, he used to make adverts and short films as a director, did Haldórsson. Now he's a full-time goalkeeper and aiming to keep a clean sheet here for Iceland, which would see them over the line and give them 3 points and their first ever victory in a major tournament finals. What an achievement that would be. It's ticking ever closer. We're into the final 14 minutes in this match being played in Marseille. Iceland 1, Hungary 0 is the score. Earlier in the Rugby Union, England beat Australia to clinch the series. Wales were beaten by New Zealand. Ireland pushed South Africa all the way, but the Springboks have levelled that series, and Scotland beat Japan. Here's Zuzak down the far side for Hungary. This time he is poleaxed. In comes the tackle, which was horribly mistimed by Savarsson, and that is another yellow card for an Icelandic defender, and unusually for people from Iceland, they're feeling the heat.
Yeah, good positive play. You know, that's what we were missing from the first 15 minutes of the game. Zuzak's running at the full-back and getting wrong side of him and getting crosses into the box. He's turned up again now, won a free kick in a very dangerous position, and also got Severson booked, so he can't really slide in any challenges now. He's got to be very careful.
The free kick's not too far away from the corner flag, infield at an angle about 8 yards in, and it is going to be taken by Klein Heisler, who looks full of concentration as he eyes this one up. He plays it to the edge of the area. That was dreadful. Straight to the breaking Icelandic defender, who clears.
Well read.
Bogason it was.
Well read from Bogason there. He read the script and intercepted that ball really well.
Another high one into the penalty area from Hungary, and the goalkeeper Haldórsson is right underneath that one too.
Hard has just got to take his time there. There's not a ball on, so don't force it. Move the ball, probe, keep recycling the ball, and look for them gaps to begin to appear, because they will. It's late in the game now, but trying to play long is just playing into the hands of Iceland.
Well, it has been the tournament of late goals, Trevor Sinclair, so rule nothing out and rule nothing in. The ball is down this near side for Hungary. Nikolic has won them a corner as he stretches. He's hardly been in the game since coming off the bench, actually, the Polish-based player, but he has won a corner for Hungary thanks to his perseverance in stretching towards the dead ball line and forcing the defender to clear. So it will be Klein Heisler with the outswinging corner in front of a sea of Hungarian faces behind the goal, into the near post. That was awful. Sigþórsson gets it away. We've seen two awful set pieces from Hungary Kadar chips it into the box from a long way out. Gira heads it down, looking for Boda in the middle. It's still up high inside the Icelandic penalty area, but it bobbles freely back to goalkeeper Halldórsson, and he takes it on the first bounce. A huge relief from the massive Icelandic support. As I was saying earlier, 8% of the country's population in the stadium in Marseille. Hungary are looking for something on the edge of the Icelandic penalty area, but the free kick has gone the other way. Bit of pushing by Gira, and a free kick for Iceland.
Bit of handbags there, I think, off the ball. Both of them were at it. Referees deemed it a foul by the Norwegian player. Hungarian player. Hungarian player.
Might have been Norwegian, but Hungary beat them in the playoffs to get through. They scraped through, really, Hungary. They're one of the outsiders in this tournament. In fact, some of the bookies had them as being more outsiders than Iceland to actually win the Euro 2016 championship. None of the odds, though, are too generous, because everybody remembers Greece in 2004, and even Denmark in '92. They won it when they weren't even in it. Because of the political situation in Yugoslavia, they stepped in and won the tournament. The ball's on the far side with Hungary. The score is 1-0 to Iceland still, and we're approaching the final 10 minutes in this match in Marseille. Finn Bogason for Iceland in the blue plays it back into the full-back position, where it's scraped away over the halfway line. Iceland need to maintain a little bit of pressure on the ball and keep possession of the ball. Skúlason is trying to do that. He's just inside his own half. He spins into a bit of trouble and overruns the ball, and it's out for a throw for Hungary. 2 yards inside the Icelandic half.
Iceland have defended really well. You think about clear-cut opportunities that the Hungarians have created, and I can't think of any. Very compact. They've stayed on the feet. They've anticipated the ball, and they've dealt with things very well.
Yep. Small team mentality, some people might call it. Good defending, protecting what they have, others might say.
Well, you've got to protect what you've got. They've got the goal in the first half, though it was a arguable penalty, but they've defended since then, and I think they deserve this at the moment. They've been the better side.
Yeah, Kadar has been penalised and shown the yellow card for an offence on the halfway line, which allows Iceland to take their time over a free kick inside the centre circle. Free kick is taken to Skúlason, and out to the near side it is Hallfredsson, the substitute with the bald head. It's played into the corner by Iceland, sensible kind of pass. Uhaj is across there for Hungary. He's been fouled. There's a bit of push and shove. There's anxiety. There's frustration. There's desperation about a lot of the football right now, actually, from both teams. Hungary need the goal. Iceland need the time to elapse, because the celebrations will be unbelievable if they can hold on. But still, well, given the fact that there is nearly always 3 minutes added on, there's about 12 minutes to be played still, Trevor.
Yeah, it seems to be the common number. I think the frustration from the Hungarians is evident, and that has got to be a compliment to the Icelandic defence. Not just the defenders and the goalkeeper, but also the midfielder, who've worked tirelessly to protect that back four. And then when they do get the ball, they've made good decisions on the ball and not taking any liberties in their own final third, which is always key.
Kadar for Hungary inside his own half. They need to build, they need to maintain some composure. They hit it long to the edge of the penalty area. Here perhaps is an opportunity for Nikolic to play the ball into the edge of the box. Good defending there though by Hallfredsson for Iceland, and they're able to break up to the edge of the centre circle. Here's Bjarnason, who's been much more involved since he's switched to a central midfield role. His passing percentage is way up, and he's been fouled here. Kleinheisler is not happy with the decision of the referee. He shows a fair amount of dissent, and the yellow card is whipped out of his pocket by the Russian referee. He was annoyed with Kleinheisler in the first half when he was complaining about the award of the penalty, and now Laszlo Kleinheisler goes into the book.
Yeah, again, Kleinheisler, he's worked very hard in this game. Fantastic duel there. He came out of it, Gira, the worst. He lost the throw-in, but I think that's the frustration coming out in Kleinheisler, and he just shown too much dissent towards the referee there, and rightly so, the referee's put him in his book.
Now here's a moment. I told you that the striker Sigthorsson was not going to last the distance. He does go off, and who comes on? Eidur Gudjonsson. He's got the armband as well, the 37-year-old. One of the best players European football has produced in the last 20 years or so, I would say, Trevor.
Amazing number 10. Brilliant touch, great spatial awareness. Finishes, you think of some of the finishes that he used to do for Bolton and Barcelona and Chelsea. Outstanding player. I'm sure he's going to be playing a key role here in retaining possession for the Icelanders.
Yeah. It's 20 years since Eidur Gudjonsson came off the bench for Iceland and famously replaced his father on the pitch.
Is it true? Is it true that he didn't shake his hand? I'm not sure that's.
I'm not sure that's true. Solai is coming on, the man who scored his first goal in 41 matches in the last game against Austria. He comes on. Juhas goes off, so it's a striker, 4 a defender, and 3 centre forwards really out there now for Hungary into the closing stages. Eidur Gudjonsson is there to lend know-how, experience, savvy, call it what you will, and can Iceland see it through? That's the big question.
Leadership.
The world awaits.
Keeping his teammates calm, making the right kind of decisions, anticipating the second balls. That's what he brought them for, and if given a chance, he can put the ball in the back of the net too.
Here's Solai for Hungary, high ball across the penalty area. Who's underneath it? Kleinheisler's trying to bring it under control, and Zuzak, the skipper, has got possession, low one into the penalty area. Sigurdsson gets it away, stabs it clear for Iceland. They remain under pressure though as Naj comes forward. Naj, lovely ball into the penalty area, laid wide to the far side. Kleinheisler into the middle towards Boda. Bjarnason gets it away. Excellent leap by the little man, the midfielder there for Iceland to clear his lines. And there is Eidur Gudjonsson showing his composure and his knowledge to keep possession. And Iceland shuffle down the far side, and they've won a throw which they've taken quickly. Tossed into the penalty area, looking for Gudmundsson, but there is Kadar to clear up for Hungary. And he scrapes it up the far touchline. It's an accurate ball too, but it's given away by Zuzak. He's tired. Here's Eidur Gudjonsson strolling forward, little back heel. Oh, he doesn't want to do that. He's given it straight to Hungary. Not ideal, to say the least. Here's Gira. Gira, though, is blocked out of it on the halfway line. The ball is loose, very close to the centre spot. Better this time from Gudjonsson. And Iceland just need to try and keep possession for a moment or two. Here's Bjarnason, tries to find Gudjonsson, who's wearing number 22, but the pass is not accurate, and Hungary have it with Zuzak on the far side into Kleinheisler. Kleinheisler tries to drop his shoulder and take on Bjarnason, but Bjarnason, the warrior with the long hair, has been like a man possessed in that central position in the last 15 to 20 minutes or so. He's defending magnificently. Yeah,
Bjarnason read that really well. Tried to cut inside him, stuck his left boot out, tackled him, dispossessed him, and then won the foul. Super play, and exactly what the Icelanders need, just to take the pressure off. They'll push everybody up now into the Hungarian final third, and they'll put the ball right in the corner and hopefully win a throw-in from that to eat up the seconds. It's a poor distribution, to be fair. Straight through to the keeper.
Yeah, straight through to Kirai. Kirai, remember, the goalkeeper for Hungary, very much underemployed in the second half, but he fluffed his lines just before half-time, and that's why the penalty was conceded ultimately and then scored by Gylfi Sigurdsson, and it remains the only goal of the match scored by Iceland. Final 3 minutes, 1-0 to Iceland. Here's Gira into the penalty area. Nikolic with the ball in towards the far post,
so
and it's an own goal! It's an own goal by Iceland. The Hungarians celebrate wildly behind the net with their supporters, but the fullback for Iceland could not prevent the ball trickling over the line off his outstretched boot, and it's Iceland 1, Hungary 1. A desperate moment for Sebarsson and Iceland.
I said it, that was what was going to break them down. Little 1-2s, little third men runs. Boda, the substitute for Hungary, came on and played a little 1-2, kept the ball really well. You can see him there just going inside, got the third man run, fantastic ball by Haj, brilliant cross, and it's one of them where you can't afford to leave it, and if you get anything on it as a defender,
it was
goes in your own goal.
He was stretching to deny Boda the final touch. He got the final touch himself, and the ball bobbled 1-2 little bounces over the line into the back of the Icelandic net, and they, it appears, are going to be denied their famous victory. The Hungarians are back in it for thanks to an own goal. It's another late goal in this dramatic Euro 2016 championship, full of late goals and late drama. Hungary strike this time, and Savarsson looks like the oldest man out there. He's gone grey, he's got wrinkles since conceding that goal. He wants a volcano to open up and swallowing.
I have been there with a back pass through to the opposition centre forward who says thank you very much and finishes it. Similar thing.
Flares at the Hungarian end, sad to report. Something we thought might have not happened today after yesterday, and the Hungarian players are just waving towards their supporters and telling them to calm it down. And we have a not dissimilar situation to the one we had yesterday in the match between Croatia and the Czech Republic, in that the referee has told the players to move up towards the halfway line out of harm's way. And now we do have the kick-off, and that is only a very temporary interruption of a few seconds. It's 1-1 now in Marseille, and the clock is on 89 minutes.
Yeah, very cruel goal to concede at such a late time in the competition, but it reflects the competition. There have been so many late goals, and this doesn't let us down with late drama. 1-1, Iceland Hungary.
Yeah, the flare wasn't launched onto the pitch on this occasion, but we could see it inside the Hungarian section, burning very brightly red and brightly. Very dangerous indeed. 4 minutes added on. Iceland 1, Hungary 1. We're into stoppage time.
Yep, momentum now with the Hungarians. They've got the ball throwing in the final third. They'll be thinking they can go on and win this now. You know, the Icelandic players will be lower than a snake's belly. They'll be feeling they didn't deserve that. To concede in the final minutes of a game is always difficult. Let's see if they can hold out for a point.
Well, it remains 1-1. We're into the 4 minutes. Hungary have possession on the halfway line. They will be looking, I'm sure, for a winner if they possibly can to qualify with a second win. At the moment, it's Hungary going to the top of the group. Iceland will be on 2 points from 2 draws and still very alive in the picture for qualification, but they wanted more. They were so close to more. Now they have a free kick on the halfway line for a foul on Finn Bogason, and the yellow card is again issued by the referee to one of the Hungarian players who was deliberately fouling. Naj it was on the halfway line. He sensed Iceland might be breaking, commits the foul. Iceland get on with the game. Skulason with a ball deep into the penalty area. Was there a tug on the shirt of the Icelandic forward? The referee sees it the other way. It's going to be a free kick inside their own penalty area for Hungary. Kadar was the man involved for the Hungarians. I thought he was pulling the shirt of the Icelandic player. The referee sought a foul the opposite way. Yeah,
slightly earlier. I think the Hungarian player was there. He read the bounce of the ball and stepped in front of the Icelandic player who made the foul, and it was a good decision by the referee for me.
Oh, mistake by the man who scored the own goal, Severson. And here's a chance for a long-range effort from Hungary. Did it take a slight deflection? It's through to the goalkeeper anyway. The shot was from Solai. Little nick off the defender, and it took a little bit of pace off the ball and actually sent it closer to the goalkeeper, Hal Dawson, who was able to make the save. Still 2 minutes of stoppage time remaining in this match in Marseille, where it's Iceland 1, Hungary 1. Iceland so close. Could yet produce something in the final 2 minutes, though, because they have a free kick, or rather a throw-in inside Hungarian territory on this near side, and Skulason is going to take it into Finn Bogason, to Skulason, back into the heart of midfield. Arnason is as far forward as he's been all afternoon stroke evening. Finds Skulason, high one to the edge of the Hungarian penalty area, headed away by Kadar, who's had an excellent game at right back for the Hungarians, and now they pump it long into the Icelandic half of the field. Arnason is all on his own in his yellow boots to turn and collect the ball. The number 14 meanders forward to the halfway line and now sends a long searching ball to the edge of the area. Surely there was a foul inches outside the box. There was. It's a free kick for Iceland. The foul was on Finn Bogason by Long. The referee was right to point to a position on the pitch inches outside of the penalty area. Iceland were hoping for a penalty, but a free kick is the correct decision. It's a bit close really for the likes of Gylfi Sigurdsson or maybe Eidur Gudjonsson, but more drama heaped upon late drama in Marseille. Iceland 1, Hungary 1. Kirai has to be on his guard here in the goal. Gylfi Sigurdsson is lining it up. Trevor.
What is Long doing? You know, it's a punt up by Arnason for the Icelandics. He's got lots of time to read the flight of the ball. Head the ball, don't foul the man. Very lucky that wasn't inside the box.
The wall is being eased back inch by the referee from Rushdie. He wants them right back. They're just 2 yards outside their 6-yard area. 2 Icelandic players in a wall, which includes 7 defensive Hungarians. So Gylfi Sigurdsson, can he get the ball up and down? Would he just go for power? Would he hope for a deflection? Could he side foot it to Eidur Gudjohnsen? What a story that would be. There's pushing, there's shoving, there's barging inside the penalty area. The referee is having to separate players. A war of words going on. Nothing too physical at the moment. Kirai comes off his line to put in his opinion. But now let's just concentrate on this free kick for Iceland. Gylfi Sigurdsson waits for the referee's whistle. He wants the ball back a little bit more, I think. Sigurdsson is going to perhaps replace the ball. He's not allowed to do that. He steps back, he'll run up at an angle on his right foot. Gylfi Sigurdsson of Swansea City to potentially win it for Iceland. Low, straight into the wall. Back to Gudjohnsen. His shot is deflected just wide of the far post. And there's the full-time whistle. It has finished. Iceland 1, Hungary 1. We almost had the most extraordinary of finishes. Eidur Gudjohnsen, the 37-year-old, lashing the ball goalwards. Deflected out. No time for the corner. Full-time. Trevor Sinclair.
Wow. I think that the most relieved character on the field will be Long. Stupid foul to give away on the edge of the box when you can clearly head the ball, misread the flight of the ball, give the foul away, and then we all thought Sigurdsson could have got that over the wall. He went to go under the wall, it landed at Eidur Gudjohnsen's feet and he tried a shot, blocked, and the final whistle went. I think a draw is a fair result. You know, they pushed so hard in that second half. They weren't great in the final third, I have to say, Hungary, but they kept on pushing, the chances were coming, and in the end it was an own goal. Very, very cruel. But I feel on the balance of the game, Hungary deserved a draw out of that.
Yes, a penalty and an own goal. Plenty of errors in the game, but it was pretty lively towards the end, and Iceland almost snatched the victory after conceding that late own goal. Sevarsson will need some consoling this evening by the Icelandic hordes. But again, they've done themselves proud. They earn a point, but Hungary top of the group, Trevor. 4 points for them.
Yeah, they've shown great spirit. You know, I could see they were getting frustrated as that game was wearing on. The chances weren't coming. They were giving silly fouls away, and it just needed a calm influence out there to get hold of the ball. And Bodder, one of the fouls who came on, he did that. He got hold of the ball, he held the ball up, laid it back, went on a third man run, got in and put a very dangerous ball across that 6-yard line. And in the end it went in off a defender, but good play, and I feel they probably deserved it. On the balance of play and the chances, they probably deserved the draw from that game.
Yes, Iceland still unbeaten but bitterly disappointed. Full time in Marseille. Iceland 1, Hungary 1.